Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and we welcome you back once again to the coaching experience. This is about the language of coaching, powerful ways and words to help others be aware, find direction, and then to take action. I may be able to speak the languages of men and even of angels, but I have no love. My speech is no more than a noisy gong or clanging bell. St. Paul. Coaching is a communication art. In the coaching experience, the coach comes alongside the clients, the coachees, to consult, advise, guide, and challenge them so they can improve their performance. And he helps the client participate in finding answers, discovering choices, and deciding on courses of action. Clients take action and the coach holds them accountable. In essence, the coach helps clients discover the truth about their situation, take action, and thereby improve that situation. Remember, you are always at choice. Destiny is no matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. It is not a thing to be waited for. It is a thing to be achieved. William Jennings Bryan from years ago. One of the most important things a coach can do for clients is to assure them that they can always make a good decision and take action. Coaches help their clients see that they may have resources they were not aware of and that more choices and actions are available than they may have thought possible. Some of the best coaching advice is simply to say to another, "You can choose. You are always at choice." Coaching helps people who care about improving their world and their work to come to points of choice where they can take action. The coach helps them choose, decide, take action, follow through on their course, and evaluate the results. And from these results, more choices, decisions, and actions, they emerge. Continuing on this course of thoughtful action will lead to better living, better relationships, improved results, and the possible achievement of something even great and significant. Good choices come from good counsel. He that gives good advice builds with one hand. He that gives good counsel and example builds with both. Francis Bacon. There are different views as to what good coaching consists of and how the process should work. One belief says that the client has all the answers and strategies that they need from his or her own experience and understanding and personal wisdom and spirit. In this view, the job of the coach is to facilitate the client's natural brilliance, to encourage them in their choices to action, and to hold them to the agreed upon standards of accountability. Now, there are clients for whom this kind of coaching may be enough. People with a high awareness of how people perceive them, lots of personal experiences to draw on, who are capable of reflection and decision and taking positive actions, may only need a facilitating coach. For them, the coach becomes a listening ear, a clarifier of intentions, a source of encouragement, and a person to hold them accountable to the commitments they have made. But I have found most clients need and more often demand much more of me. The client may not know some of the best strategies for life and time management and setting and achieving goals, personal relationships and boundaries, about public speaking, about communication, about personal marketing, about organizational development, about business building and other skills necessary for success in a difficult world, in a global marketplace, and in a changing business environment. The experience of many successful coaches is that they must have something to offer in terms of knowledge and wisdom with which the clients may not have any experience or even be aware of. I offer my expertise and experience for hire in order to help a group of people reach the summit. So said a man named Anatoly. One beginning coach found that the facilitating approach led to a very traumatic incident. The client became upset and said, "I'm not paying you over $100 an hour just to answer your questions and help me figure things out. I want to hear some ideas about things that I don't have a clue about." In my own experience, one of my best executive coaching clients said, "Thanks for a lot of good ideas that I've never heard of or thought of before." Yeah, good coaching is more than facilitation. It often must include counsel about what to do and wise content about what works and what does not. The coach must speak from a point of expertise on vital topics, as well as be an expert in coaching communication and in communication patterns and processes. The coach must be well-read, well-informed, and able to offer sound counsel on subjects vital to the client's performance. Now, the coaching conversation leads to statements of direction. We talked about that before. A coaching conversation works best when certain patterns are followed to help the client become more aware of what they would like to achieve in the conversation, what understandings are desired, the best choices available for the situation, decisions to be made, commitments that can help actions to be taken, and how to follow through and be held accountable. To review, I recommend the following stage and patterns for being and speaking as a coach. Here we go again. Affirmation, attention, concentration, direction, and benediction. Think of it this way. An effective coaching conversation moves from affirmation of the client and their potential to paying attention so that there can be an agreement on what both parties should concentrate on. And then the conversation moves forward, seeking, giving, and agreeing on direction. Finally, we speak words of good wishes, indeed a benediction. It is in seeking and giving direction that the language of speaking as a coach becomes vital and powerful, guide for action and transformation. The crux of this guide, this program, is how to be effective in making coaching statements that give direction for the client and may even have the added benefit of promoting self-discovery and direction. With these stages in mind, we can look at how to speak in order to help people achieve positive and powerful direction for better performance. Ask permission. In speaking the language of good coaching, it is vital to get the consent of the client as you seek clarity and give guidance. It is important to get permission as you move through the coaching conversation and process. It has been said that as we grow older and more sophisticated, we often forget the simple instructions of always say please and thank you. Asking permission, saying please, and making a request makes the language of coaching more collegial as well as thoughtful. Trust gives you the permission to give people direction, get everyone aligned, and then perhaps give them the energy to get the job done. So said Douglas Conant. Now, when you speak as a coach with a word of guidance or advice, it helps to speak the language of seeking consent by using the following kinds of phrases. Here we go. With your permission, I have a request. Would you? May I make a? Please allow me. Would you be open to? What you say next allows the client to choose and be less defensive because he or she had the power to give you permission. Their permission gives the coach greater power to give guidance and direction because they have become stronger by their consent. Speaking as a coach is often seeking permission. Now, don't judge, just notice. One of the most powerful insight that coaching theory and practice has brought to personal development and to training and education is the request to suspend immediate judgment of what is going on in the situation and in the performance environment. We live in a world of ratings, scores, evaluations, results, and winning and losing. In coaching, it is better to start with high awareness than high scores. A client approached me and said, "Boy, I really messed up that presentation." This is a judgment and evaluation. I responded, "Don't judge, just notice." I asked her to describe without judgment what had happened. She did. Without the cloud of judgment and the threat of condemnation, she described what had happened with exceptional clarity. She even described how she would do it differently next time. I asked about feelings, thoughts, actions, and results, not judgments. Notice the small thing. The rewards are inversely proportional. Liz Vassy taught me that. The good coach is seeking to help the client develop greater awareness of his or her body, feelings, thoughts, situation, the choices before him or her, and the alternatives that can be used to take improved action. But it all begins by dropping the too soon rush to judgment, which we have become familiar with. The coach who knows and seeks the power of enhanced awareness often says words such as, "With your permission, I'd like you to just be aware and not judge, just notice." When awareness is high clarity, clarity is enhanced, trust has been earned, and permission given. The coach can go through increasing levels of strength in seeking and giving direction to the client. Now listen to these levels of strength in coaching direction. The following are 4 words to help you remember the levels of strength and intensity of direction to go through in speaking guidance and coaching to another. Observation, suggestion, recommendation, challenge. Now here are some brief descriptions of each level. Observation. To observe means to watch attentively, become aware of through careful and directed attention, to comment or remark on. In the spirit of enhanced awareness, the coach may begin by simply asking permission to make an observation. Such language as, "Would you permit me an observation?" Or, "I happen to notice," are at this level. You might add, "You seem to be eager to get that meeting over. Is that correct?" Another example might be, "I'm hearing some real doubt as to whether you really want to do that. Am I mistaken?" To acquire knowledge, one must study, but to acquire wisdom, one must observe. Marilyn Vos Savant. As the language indicates, the coach is simply guiding by observing. As previously noted, we often too quickly interpret, generalize, and make judgments about what we have seen or experienced. So here is an ideal time for the coach to put into practice the principle, don't judge, just notice. The coach observes and speaks his thoughts. The client can choose to respond to this observation in a variety of ways, to confirm, deny, reflect, or ask further questions or seek suggestions. This leads to the next level, suggestion. Give them too much and they won't contribute anything themselves. Give them just a suggestion and you get them working with you. Orson Welles. Suggestion is the next level. To suggest means to offer for consideration, to imply that some action could be helpful. Here the coach gives back to the fundamental and goes back to the fundamental role in what he or she does for clients to help them find good choices and alternatives for improvement. The coach reminds the client that he or she is always a choice and presents a possibility for one of his or her choices. It is one that the coach believes would be good for them is not available. They might say, "Here's an idea you might consider for your decision." A suggestion is more than an observation, but it's less than a recommendation. And that is the next level, recommendation. To recommend means to praise, to make a favorable statement, to state what is desirable and favorable. Here the coach is advocating that in his or her opinion, one of the choices before the client is preferable. He or she has made a judgment about what he or she feels is one of the best interests of the client. The coach who is now recommending might seek permission and to say, here is what I think you should do, or I would like to advocate on behalf of. The coach might simply say, my recommendation is, because coaching is not bossing. The client is free and a choice to reject, modify, or accept the recommendation, just as he or she is with an observation or a suggestion. But the level of direction and guidance by the coach is now higher and more intense with a recommendation. And that brings us to the highest level, the challenge. Challenge. Good coaches often challenge their coaching clients. To challenge means to call to engagement, to summon to action, to test one's ability and resolve. Here, the recommendation has become a focused call to decision and action. That's a challenge. To be a champion, I think you have to see the big picture. It's not about winning and losing. It's about everyday hard work and about thriving on a challenge. Sumner Sanders. 3 years ago, I asked a client to build his consulting business by writing a newsletter. I challenged him to start doing a 2-page newsletter and send it to 25 people. He looked at me for a moment and then I added, will you accept my challenge? With a bit of trepidation, he said, yes. But then he asked me, what should it look like? Now I became a facilitator and said, that is up to you. I then made some suggestions based on his questions and his desires, and together we designed a course of instruction and action to meet that challenge. The results were very positive. In a recent meeting, I challenged him to do some experimental writing, perhaps to even write a short story. With a smile, he said, I accept your challenge. I'm eager to see what he can accomplish with this new challenge. You see, good coaching is often speaking the language of the challenge. Now, sometimes they even ask for full direction. Here we go. Statements of observation, suggestion, recommendation, and challenge are all subsets of seeking and giving direction to the coaching client. Now, the coach must develop deep intuition and empathy, and from experience with his or her client, know what level might work best in each of the different situations. On occasion, the client may even ask for more. I recommended a course of action to a client to build his influence using the media. He then paused and said, I accept your recommendation, but only if you promise to give me direction. What this thoughtful client was doing was saying, I want to do what you recommend, but I don't know how to start and follow through. You tell me what to do, and I will do it. Now there the client asked for full direction. The request is for full direction should only come from the client. The coach speaks the language of awareness, observation, suggestion, recommendation, and challenge. A final question on clarity. The coach continues to always seek greater awareness so that choices, decisions, and actions that the client can make and take are clear. That brings us to one of the great questions in the language of coaching. It may only be a legend, but the legend has become a great legacy. It is said that when the two great American thinkers and philosophers, Henry David Thoreau and Ralph Waldo Emerson, would meet each other in conversation in or around Concord, Massachusetts, they would often ask each other, since we last met, what is clear to you now? What a powerful question. Often people comment that the best part of the coaching experience is that they know that the question is coming. They know I'm going to say that. Their mental, emotional, and spiritual preparation for answering that question often leads them to the self-discovery of what they now know and what they should do. These levels of direction, questions that can be asked and sought are the essence of learning to speak the language of coaching in the coaching experience. Coaching is a communication art, and I wish you all the best as you become a master artist in coaching communication. All the best and blessings will continue on. Please reach out to me, Stan Houston, at stan@witradio.net. Witradio.net is our website, and 520-664-7002 USA.